What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and today, once again, we have an extremely special guest. He hails from DC, currently residing in Portland, Oregon. He's a producer slash beat maker, visual artist, and a color producer. But most importantly, this is the man that's provided the intro and outro music to my podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Ahmad, aka Infrared Krypto, in the building. Infrared, how's it going, brother?
Hey man, everything's pretty good. Yeah, can't complain.
Good. So I want to start from the beginning, growing up in DC. So what was
Mm.
that? Just take us into what it was like as a young infrared crypto growing up on the streets of DC.
Well, growing up in the streets of DC, it was just pretty quiet, honestly. Like I was more of an introvert, so I would just do things creatively on my own or just like at home. Um, either I would just shoot around, shoot some hoops, on my own, or sometimes I hang around, with my cousins and like we'll go to the movie theaters or like we'll see the games, around that time, like, especially during like the playoff season. So, like streets of DC, like it was pretty quiet for the most part
Okay,
on my end. But yeah, that's pretty much my adolescence.
okay. So you were an only child.
Exactly. I was the only child for 15 years, and then my younger brother
Oh
came
wow. Okay.
into the world, when I was like 15 years old. I was about to be a freshman in high school.
Wow. How
Yep.
about that? So what was your first musical memory that you can remember?
And first musical memory, I just remember my step grandfather, like he'll have these like vinyl records. And so like he'll have like, man, like Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament, Funkadelic. He'll have Marvin Gaye, he'll have like Zapp, like he'll have all these kinds of like funk, like soulful records from like the 70s and 80s. Cameo, like he'll play Cameo a lot when I was younger. But also I had my mother, like from her perspective. So I grew up in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. So like my mother, she'll play Mary J. Blige, she'll play DMX, she'll play Jay, she'll play Big.
Wow.
So I had the best of both worlds when it came to like having like an eclectic taste, from like the old school, but also the new school around that time. So yeah, it was just a variation of different sounds.
Perfect mix, man. So I imagine those were some of the influences that shaped you. You shaped your producing palette, or
Oh,
colored
for
your
sure.
producing palette, so to speak. So, when did you start taking a liking to wanting to produce?
That's a great question. Um, I think ever since I was just like younger. So, I would see, I'm a huge like Neptunes fan. So I love like Pharrell and Chad Hugo. So I think like one time I saw their video on like YouTube, and they're just like making like tracks from like I want to say 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden just like gravitated towards me. I was like, oh wow, like this might be something that I want to do. Like I just love just the whole process of just creating music and then just like thinking of different ideas for other artists. I think one clip they're playing like music for or creating music for like Justin Timberlake or like clips
Mm-hmm.
from that era. So I think ever since then it kind of opened my eyes on, okay, this might be something I want to do, in the foreseeable future.
Dope. So, did you incorporate any of their producing techniques to your repertoire?
That's a good question. A little bit. I I think one thing I like about the Neptunes, like they're very versatile. So they don't stick to one genre.
True.
That's what I love about, just their style. Like NERDs is more of just like alternative rock.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then you also have, they're more hip hop street side, with clips, and also you have their more, sort of like laid back style, with Jay, but sometimes they can go, rough as well, like, Noriega.
Yeah.
So it's like I just love and then sometimes they go pop with, Britney Smith, Britney Spears, and
Hmm.
Gwen Stefani. So I just love that side of it, and just like their willingness to just like branch out to different genres. So I think for me as well, like I try to do that as well. Just I'm a student, like I'm a student of music. I just try to study, just as many genres as much as possible, because I'm into all different types of sounds and music. So I think that's why I gravitate towards them more.
Dig it. So who did you have any other producers that you would take bits and pieces from and incorporate with your production?
Yeah. I mean, like Jay Dilla, like
Hmm.
he was the beat king. Timbaland, um, man, Knife Wonder,
Hmm.
especially just like the Little Brother days, but also I love bossa nova, so I love like Sergio Mendes and
Ah,
Brazil
Brazil
66.
66. Yeah.
Exactly,
I love them
exactly.
too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I just love that 60s, 70s bossa nova esque vibe as well. And I try to, study that and try to emulate that and try to put it to my own style, or try to, have my own style or my own twist into that particular sound too. Um, but trying to think of some other like artists or musicians. Um, Stereo Lab. Like, if you remember with
Oh,
Stereo Lab?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Stereo Lab. They're just. I mean, they're just crazy. Just like I think, and I'm really influenced by their sounds as well. Just because, they're very eclectic in just how they manipulate different sounds and different textures. And
Yeah.
so I love them as well. Like especially like Dots and Loops. Their 1997 album. Like I listened to that just like from front to back. So yeah, I definitely have to say like those artists and groups like definitely shaped and mold like my sound for sure.
Dope. So, what's your production process like? Do you normally start with a beat, or do you have a melody in your head that you uh, basically just start with do you start with the beat, or do you start with the
Mhm.
melody first?
I start with the melody first. So the first I like to figure out what the chords are. Um, and then sometimes okay, like I start with the chords. Maybe I want to do like an electric piano. Sometimes I may want to do a bass, to go along with the electric piano, or maybe like a or like a synthesizer, and then I start with like your kicks and your snares. Maybe I want to triple that chord, um, so it can have more of a broad or like an arranged sound. So after that, then I go with the kicks and snares and just to see how the vibe is going, just the groove. And then sometimes, I go with if I need a hi-hat, if I want a hi-hat, and I'll, incorporate that into the beat. Or, if I want to have some shakers or some congas or just anything, just to make the sound more lively. But for the most part, I tend to go with the chords first, just to see what my colors are, see how the colors, if it has like a bluish sound to it, then okay, I know what the right kicks or I know what the right snares are. If I hear like a orange reddish type of sound, then okay, then I have another way of just how to go about this particular beat. So it ultimately depends, like within the sound.
And you describing your recording process and the color aspect of it, you really inadvertently alley-ooped me into the to my next question was,
Okay.
which is, I love how your IG page is set up because it's all posts of instrumentals, but
Right.
there's a very unique visual component to it that I dig a great deal, and this all
I
like you said, it's
appreciate
all
it.
these different colors, and it's almost to the effect like you're actually seeing the sounds,
Right.
and I dig that so much. So what was the brainchild behind that?
Well, I mean, first, man, I greatly appreciate it, man. I'm glad you like the artwork as well. But I think it just starts with the pandemic. So like early in the pandemic, especially just like, early 2020, like everyone was essentially home. And so I just pretty much like picked up a hobby. But I think I started doing like artwork before then, but I just didn't incorporate it with the music until around that time. But
Hmm.
I just thought of just a bright idea. I was like, oh man, like how about I just, incorporate the artwork or the art piece with the music, and it actually tells that story, or it tells the story is much more meaningful, and also just there's just a visual aspect to the beat or to the music, and so I think that's where it all started. It's just a pandemic, and then just figuring out different things, and then all of a sudden like oh yeah, like I guess I can incorporate the two. So
There you go. Necessity breeds creativity.
absolutely. Very much
So,
so.
the first time I heard your music was on another podcast I listened to called Three Guys On. So, how did you get in with them?
Man, I started sending just tracks to them like I want to say 2018.
Okay.
So like I was just, I don't know, I just had an idea of like, well, because I mean I've been listening to them since 2015. So I was like, man, I might as well, just send some beats to them, and I guess just the relationship just progressed, and then that's when they started to put my music on the outro, which is pretty dope. Like I greatly appreciate them for even
Yeah.
doing that. But yeah, I think I want to say summer 2018. I just had just the thought of just how about just and also just building that relationship as well, and just seeing where it goes. It was my first time sending an email to them. So I was like, I might as well. So I think it just progressed ever since then.
I love it, man. That shot in the dark email, and look what happened.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
without you doing that email, I would have never reached out to you to
Right.
provide the soundtrack to my podcast, which I greatly appreciate because I reached
Oh
out to
yeah.
you and I mean, you hit me right back with a pack of tracks. I'm like, ooh, like, boy, I could do something with these.
Oh, for
Oh
sure.
man,
Yeah,
yeah.
no problem.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, no
So,
problem, man. Anytime.
I want to go into the color producing aspect of Ahmad.
Okay.
So, you did color producing for Nike and are currently doing it for Under Armour. How'd you get into
Yes.
that?
And so it's a long story. So initially, went to this intensive program at this footwear academy called Pensole.
Mm-hmm.
And Pensole used to be located in Portland, but now they're located in Detroit. And like now in Detroit, it's like a college. And like it's just a huge college now, which is pretty impressive. But at the time, it was essentially like a studio for up and coming artists or up and coming designers that's like trying to get into the footwear industry. And so I studied color and materials design there for 3 months, and that's where it all started. Like that's where
Okay.
it all clicked. And at that time, that's where I also just started to gain a lot of networking opportunities, and like I had like different people who worked at Nike. They're representing me, and they're just giving me their insights and their knowledge. And then ever since then, yeah, I just went to that. I just gravitated towards that side of the design world. And then 2018, that's when I got my first break. I was a color design assist at Nike for the men's sportswear department. It was like apparel. And then 2019, I was also the color design assist for Global Equipment, so it's like balls and bags. And then also had the cool opportunity to work on like the balls and bags for the Nigerian national team in 2020. So that was
Wow.
pretty cool. That was a great experience and great opportunity. And then 2021, that's when I came to Under Armour, and that's where I am now, as a like a full-time color designer for youth, and also like basketball, slides and sandals. So
Man, that is dope.
yep.
So that academy, is that what prompted the move from DC to Portland?
Exactly. So Partially. So I was there for 3 months, and then I went back to DC when the intensive program ended, and then I went back to school, and then summer of 2018, I just something just told me to just like just take that risk and just come out here and just seek opportunities. And also like my uncle was out here too
Okay.
because he works at Nike, and he was also just encouraging me to like come out here and like see what happens. Like he's like, man, there's just a lot of opportunities out here. Just you might as well just take the risk and see what happens. And I mean, thankfully, it's paying off so far. So
Man, that is so dope, man. You was
yeah,
like a jack of all trades, man.
yeah, I do my best, man. I think for me, it's just try to be knowledgeable. In most aspects of like design and also like I'm just into a lot of things too. So I think that helps that as well. Like I'm just very inquisitive, just try to be more and more curious, and try to make sure that I try to be more skillful in things that I enjoy too, like music and design and artwork and you name it. So
Just to bring it full circle, as one of my favorite quotes that I said in a couple podcasts or a couple episodes before,
mm,
is one of my favorite quotes from, ironically, Pharrell, when he said, always stay loyal to the curiosity. And
absolutely.
it looks like for you, that's been extremely advantageous, man.
Oh, for sure.
And kudos to you for taking that leap. And
I appreciate
I
it.
mean, it looks like you were doing a damn good job, man.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, that's a great quote, man. I mean, I think for me, it's just like not staying stagnant and
Yeah.
just like keep going, and just not being, complacent with where I am. Or it's like I want to be grateful for where I am, but like I just don't want this to be the end all be all, because I just know that, there's just, more things that I can get better at too. So, I just try to be, try to stay grounded as well as much as possible. So
100%. But man, being a sponge has its
oh
advantages, that's
yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
now we're going to get into the 5 question segment. So the first and
Okay.
last question are the same questions I ask every guest on here. Questions 2 through 4 are 100% random. So question number 1, what
Mhm.
were the ideal items on infrared crypto school lunch tray?
Ideal items
Yeah.
for the school lunch tray. And I could just pick any items.
Yep. Completely up to you.
Okay. So I'm right now I'm on the healthy tip. So so I might have to go with some grilled chicken. I might have to go with some brown rice and quinoa. I might have to go with some roasted broccoli. With like, sprinkle of lemon juice, just to have the zestiness.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like a drink or a side, I don't know, like I'll probably choose water.
Okay. I like it.
Try to clean.
Keeping them innards clean, man. Can't be mad at that. Question number 2. If you
Man,
could be any animal, what animal would you be?
that's a great question. I might have to go with a giraffe.
My dog. That's my answer. That would be my answer
Okay,
too.
that's what's up. Yeah, because I just love how elegant and just like how calm they are. Like, they don't raise any commotion or any ruckus. They're just, they keep to themselves.
Yeah,
And they stand tall. Like, they're just, they're on their own. But I just love just the elegance component of like giraffe. So well, I mean, why I'm
absolutely.
curious, like why would you choose a giraffe?
Same reasons.
Okay, okay.
And the only drawback for me is, see, have you ever seen two giraffes fight?
No.
They
Mm-mm.
just they basically just whack their necks together. It is the
Oh
most
man,
counterproductive fighting method I've ever seen in
that's
my life. I
crazy.
mean, their necks basically just do like this. It's weird.
That's wild.
Yeah. Question number 3. What was the first major news story you remember?
Face first new major news story. Probably 9/11.
Do you remember
Um,
where you were when that happened?
yes, I mean I'm showing my age. So I'm pretty young, but I was in first grade around the time. And it was a show and tell.
Oh, wow.
Yep, it was show and tell. I vividly remember this, and I'm from DC, so like there was bombings in the Pentagon or the
Yeah.
Pentagon area as well. So I all of a sudden I just see just teachers running, and then I saw like parents coming in and like taking their children. I was like, well, what's going on? And then all of a sudden my mother came out of nowhere. She just came abruptly, and that's when she just told me the news. And I mean, that's essentially what happened. And also, Blueprint came out that day.
It sure did.
Yep, Blueprint came out that day too. So I remember that as well. But I'll probably have to say like that was that, and then also like I remember the whole like Y2K situation going on, like
Oh man. Yeah.
99, 2000. So
Yeah, everybody was on edge.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Question number 4. What was the most recent song that inspired you to create something?
You said most recent?
Yeah.
Man, uh, it's this some trying to remember his name. Be on my Spotify. So it's this soulful Korean artist, and he makes a lot of like dope soulful music.
Okay.
Um, Actually, I might put you onto something. Remember his name? Kan Sano. So Kan is a Kan, and his last name is Sano, Sano, and he makes this song called Penny Lane. And just the whole like vibe of it is just amazing. I mean, just from just the start of it, and then just the bridges, and then just like the textures of it. I was like, man, like this is amazing. I think it came out 2016, but it definitely just inspired me to make just like soulful music. I think it was like a couple of days ago, like ever since just listening to that song. But like that's something that you'll probably enjoy as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
And
probably
you
have to say that song.
you had me at bridges because bridges really are a
Oh
lost
yeah,
art.
absolutely.
A good bridge can just really turn a good song into a great song.
Very much so.
And I'm gonna add a bonus question. So, question 4B: what are your 3 favorite Neptune's produced tracks?
Oh man. Three?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great question. Um, wow. I might so I'm gonna have to go with Mr. Me Too. Just how I just love how weird it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love just the whole just strange, just like I don't know what you call it. It's just off key, very yeah. It's a really interesting take on that beat or just on that sound. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so that I probably have to say that song. Man, two more. This is pretty tough. Man, I'm blanking. I might have to go with Change Clothes.
Hmm.
I love the groove. I just love that groove with that song. Um, three, man, nothing by Nori Noriega. Can I do two more?
Have at it. Have at it.
Yeah, this is pretty tough. Because I mean, it's just so many. And then like number four, I might have to go with trying to go back because I might have to pick an NERD song too,
Okay.
NERD song as well. I might have to go with man, I'm blanking. Sooner or later, are you familiar with Sooner or Later?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, Sooner or Later is pretty dope. That's a dope NERD sound or NERD song. And then the last one, uh, man, because the thing about the Neptunes is like their category is just so broad.
It
Like
really is.
it's just amazing just like how many like songs they had, especially just like the run they had from like the late 90s to the mid 2000s. Like
Dude,
it's just like so many that you can pick from. I mean, it's just crazy. So like the last one, I might have to go with Love You Better by LL Cool J.
that right there is my favorite Neptune's beat ever.
Yeah.
I,
Because it's crazy because like they don't really use the kick, if you
mm-hmm.
notice. It's really just the snare and just like some shakers and also just the chords.
Yeah,
But
them chords.
there's not,
Oh my
oh
God,
yeah.
them chords put me in a trance, man.
Oh yeah, same here. It's crazy. Like, but that's like the most underrated like beat.
That is my favorite Neptune's beat ever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Gr-
same here.
grinding included.
Oh, grinding. Oh man. Yeah, grinding's up there too. Yeah, for sure.
All right, question number 5. What was the last thing that really made you laugh?
Oh man. The last thing that made me laugh, probably something from Five Starter.
Touche.
You know what? It was actually the episode that you're on a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, I think you and Ba had technical difficulties. They're like, oh, he from a different, from another universe. Like, so that
Oh
that may
man,
that may have been I think I listened to that episode a couple of days ago again. I was like, yeah, that was a highlight moment.
that never fails. Both times I was on, it was technical difficulties. We didn't even get
Oh
to
yeah.
the tank segment the first time, and he was like, Tone was just like, "Well, I guess that's the show. That's the FS podcast, and we out." I'm like, "Fine."
But you know what, man, the thing about it, like that's just the whole beauty of the episode. It's just the whole beauty of the show
Yeah,
in general.
yeah,
You know,
Mis-
that's just the essence of it.
yeah. Mistakes be damned. They're gonna let it rock, and I greatly appreciate that.
Exactly.
So, if there's anything you want to plug or promote, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah. So nothing to promote as of now. I know I'm coming at some point. I'm coming out with a new instrumental project in late September. So be on the lookout for that. It's more of a like a different genre, just something that we talked about moments ago. But also just continue to have those soulful vibe, but try to lean into something different. But I'll definitely promote that very soon. But just follow me on Instagram and Twitter, infrared underscore crypto. So that's INFRARED underscore crypto. That's KRYPTO. And get to see all of the artwork incorporated with the music, and just go from there.
Also, how did you come up with the name Infrared Crypto?
That's a great question. So I'm a huge fan of infrared Air Max 90s.
Should have known. I should have known.
Yep. So I'm a huge fan of those shoes, and then crypto just comes from like the DC character, Crypto the dog.
Mm-hmm.
So Crypto the dog basically symbolizes like prowess, and he symbolizes just like stability and strength. So I was like, oh, like I thought that was dope. So I just combined the two, infrared crypto basically.
Nice. But man, thank you for being a guest on here, man. This is
Yeah.
a super fun episode, man. We talk about Neptunes, we talk about giraffes. Man, we covered a lot of ground in this, man.
Oh yeah, man. I had a lot of fun. Sorry about the dead air on the Neptune segment because
Man, don't
that
sweat
had
it.
me hard, man.
Don't sweat it. The payoff was well worth it.
Sounds
So
good.
make sure y'all like, download, and subscribe to Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. And also, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Danny Foxworth 843. And you can catch the visual component of this podcast. And for Infrared and myself, till next time, y'all be good. Peace.
Appreciate it.